Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to my new little series on YouTube where I'm going to be reviewing where I'm going to start reviewing games, be it new ones, old ones. Basically, Basically, I'm going to try to review most of the games I have in my collection, and quite possibly any other games that any of you guys want me to review specifically. Well, depending on my mood and depending if I want to play a game or not. So, today the review is going to be about Kid Icarus Uprising, which was released for 3DS about a month ago. So the review might be a little late for that, for something like this, but I still feel it's worth reviewing because Kid Icarus Uprising is a really fun game. And for Kid Icarus fans who've been waiting for 25, or should I say 20 years since Myths and Monsters on a Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy was released, feel free to, you should feel delighted knowing that Uprising was more than worth the wait. Because it is an excellent game, the battle system was amazing, the story was pretty good, the game is actually pretty comical at times, and not to mention it has a few surprising twists, which I'm not going to get into because it's a review, not a spoiler session. So let's go into different sessions. Well, graphics, I think I've made it very clear in my videos in the past, or I will make it pretty clear at one point, that in most games, I can care less about graphics. Because to me, as long as the game is still good, and the story is good, then the graphics could be little squares for the characters, and I'd be fine with that. In fact, I play games like that, and they were absolutely amazing. So, but even then, the graphics in Kid Icarus Uprising are, for a handheld, they're pretty good. Now, for some part let's see. Now, the story was also pretty good. In the beginning, you basically Pit being sent by goddess Palutena to fight Medusa. And, well, I'm not going to reveal too many spoilers, but about halfway through the game, there's basically a little twist in the story, which causes it to go in a whole other direction. Not to mention getting into all this really weird stuff, which like somewhat sci-fi at one point, which surprisingly still fits within the realm. Surprisingly fits very well. Not to mention there are tons of references to some of Nintendo's other series in Kid Icarus Uprising. Now, for the music, I thought it was pretty good too, and, well, as I said earlier, for Fingers of the Story, there are some parts of it that are pretty comical, because while you're playing the stages, you're always hearing conversations from the various people, like some of the gods, good ones, and even talks to some of the villains from time to time. So, and some pixel marks are pretty funny. Now, the only complaint that I really have are the controls, but you get used to controls after a while. In fact, I play games with controls that are much worse than this. In comparison, the controls in Kid Icarus Uprising in this game, they weren't that bad. In fact, I'd say the controls are actually pretty decent. Considering it definitely took advantage of nearly everything on the 3DS. Basically, the touchscreen, the circle pad, the triggers, everything. And I haven't played a game on any handheld which caused you to use so many buttons at once since, well, ever. So basically, I highly recommend you play this game. And if you don't have a 3DS, get it so you can play this game, because it's more than worth it. Because this is easily one of the best offerings on the system right now. And I highly recommend that people buy this game and share it. And I hope and enjoy it. Because it's a lot of fun. And now, another thing, gamers like me have been complaining about difficulty in games for years. But Kid Icarus Uprising actually fixes that. Because it has a difficulty level thing. Basically, difficulty going from 0 to 10. And basically, and each one being obviously being harder than the one before it. So it goes from difficulties to like novice game players and somewhat casual ones to really hardcore gamers at basically the higher difficulties. So difficulty is not a problem in this game. The best part is, the higher difficulty, the better the rewards you get, because you get things like better weapons. Now, and the weapons are pretty good in this game. So basically, this is a fun game. I highly recommend it. In my book, it gets on a scale of 10, it basically gets a 9.5. Because I don't give perfect scores unless the game is above and beyond anything else. Well, until next video, people.